welcome in our channel. Today we are going to talk about the terminology used in the logistics field. This is going to be part 2 of the series Terminology of Logistics. Before we go ahead, remember to subscribe to our channel, leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video. Moving forward with our topic, let's cover a few more terms used in the logistics field. So when we think about the ocean freight, we said that when we ship via ocean, we generally put it on a boat, and the boat is called a vessel. So you don't say, I put my container on a boat, I put my container on a vessel. So the vessel is basically the very big ship that is used to transport goods all over the world via ocean. Then we have what we call a container. A container is generally a box, we can say 40 feet at least long, and it's generally put on the vessel, so on the ship. And inside the container you have all the goods. But most of the times you cannot really rent the whole container because you don't have enough goods to fill it in completely, so you may go for what we call an FCL or an LCL. FCL means full container load. You rent it all and you fill it all. And then you have less than a container load, LCL, when you can't really fit the entire container, and that's and basically what you do, you simply rent half of it or 3/4 of it, so you can share the container with someone else. Just make sure that you're kind of aware of what's going to be together with your goods, or that you really declare in the right way your goods, because if there's any dangerous goods and you're going to get mixed for something that can cause fire, for example, that's a big mess. Still talking about deliveries and so on, we have what we called the proof of delivery. So POD is generally once the delivery, the courier goes to deliver the consignment and the order to a final customer, they generally sign it off. So if you need a proof of delivery, you need to see who signed it on and who received the product. You can still look at the proof of delivery. So you can ask the courier, to file a claim for you, which means that if there's any damages or loss of parcels of goods, you can still file a claim to the courier and let's say have a partial refund from the courier. Maybe you can have it all if you have got the insurance. Then when you ship from your manufacturer, for example, to your final customer in the US, you have quite a few steps. You have, for example, you move the stocks from the manufacturer to a warehouse. From the warehouse it's going to get on a truck and go to the port. From the port it's going to be put on a vessel. From the vessel it's going to be received at the destination port, for example in the US, and then there someone will need to unload the goods from the vessel and load them into a truck, and then the truck is going to go to deliver the goods. So this is called intermodal or multimodal, let's say, type of shipment, where you use two different modes of transportation. You use the truck and you use the boat. But also we need to know the landed cost, and the landed cost is the full cost for transporting your goods, which means from the time it gets shipped from the manufacturer, so it's locally moved with the truck, then put on a vessel, and there's basically the price you pay to ship with the vessel, so via ocean freight. But there's also the price of moving the goods with the trucks at the origin and at the destination. So the landed cost will be the full cost to do the entire process from the manufacturer to the door. And that's where we also talk about door-to-door shipments or door-to-port shipments. So based on what you need, if you need just to deliver the port to destination and then your customer is going to go and take it at the port, then you need a service which is door-to-port. Someone will, the forwarder, the ocean freight, air freight, let's say forwarder, let's say the company that handles the shipment is going to come pick it up at your door. That, of course, in this case is going to be either your manufacturer or your warehouse, and deliver to the port. So this is a door-to-port service. Door to door means you come to pick up to my manufacturer and you deliver right in front of the door or my customer. Then when we talk about DDP or DAP, we say duties delivery paid for DDP. It's a non-co term, which means that you already paid for duties and taxes, so they are included in the price, and once the shipment gets to the final destination, to your final customer, they don't have to pay for duties and taxes. But duties at port, DAP, is what used to be called DDU, which means that your customer pays duties and taxes. So as long as it arrives at the port, duties are due at the port. So the customer will need to pay the duties and then it's going to get the delivery. When you order something or when you try to, let's say, ask for information for quotes from 3PLs or manufacturers or even couriers, we talk about RFI, RFP, and RFQ. So RFI is what we call request of information, then there's RFP, request for proposal, and then RFQ is request for quotation. So it depends what you need, if you just want information, if you already want a proposal, if you just need a quotation, but you need still first some information basically. So this is what means RFI, RFP, and RFQ. Then we have DG, MSDS. MSDS is a material safety data sheet, generally goes with the batteries or any data sheets, that may be for dangerous goods or hazardous goods. And that's why we have also the DG. DG means dangerous goods. Still, when delivering, in the process of delivering goods, we have the customs, where we find the custom agents, where we have the custom clearance that is done by a custom broker. So let's recap. Customs is generally an authority that checks and applies duties, check the parts and make sure that they can actually let it come in the country when it's coming from another one, and then they also apply duties. But who applies the duties is the officer, so it's the custom officer at the border, at the customs, where the custom broker does the clearance, the custom clearance. So a custom broker is like an authority, let's say, an agent that helps you to handle the custom clearance, to make sure that all the documents are there at customs, at the border, that the custom officer applies the duty on the tariff on your parcel, on your product. So you pay for duties and it gets in and gets delivered. So there are different, let's say, parties involved, and we say that there's the customs, where the custom officer is gonna apply the duties and the custom broker is gonna do the custom clearance with the custom officers at custom. If we go back to the warehouse instead, we have few more things to discuss. For example, the RMA, which are return merchandise authorization. Generally, that's a number that is used to do the custom clearance when you want to return back goods to your warehouse or manufacturer, because, for example, in the European Union, you have to offer 14 days guarantee, to return your products, especially for apparel, if you buy online, because if they don't fit, you need to have the possibility to return them and get refund. So in that case, you need the reference number, which is an RMA. But in general, we used to call RMAs all the returns that come back from customers because they don't fit, and we need to do the quality check, which is called QC. Quality check, or QA, quality assurance. Then moving back to the warehouse, we have what we call the kitting, for example. So the kitting process is when you're assembling something. It's the case, for the phone, where at the beginning, back in time, used to be battery and phone. Maybe the warehouse received two different pieces or components, the phone and the battery, from two different manufacturers. And once they were in the warehouse, before shipping out your phone that you order online, for example, what they would do, they would just put the battery together with the phone, put it in the box and ship it out. So that's like a kitting. An example could be, I have my device, I have my marker, and I have my case. So before shipping out, if this is, let's say, the product all together, I'm just gonna put the device inside the case and then the marker and then ship it out. So this is let's say we can call it a kitting. So you put things together to make one product or to make one order. But maybe, for example, if you sell online a bundle, let's say the camera with all the accessories, and you let them pay, let's say you let them save some money if they order all together, and you have camera with all the accessories in the box, the light, the mic, and so on, and you can buy single items, then once they buy all together, you most likely have one SKU for that. So your 3PL, your third-party logistics provider, is gonna assemble it all together, like put all together, the camera, the light, the let's say the mic in the box before shipping out, or they pre-pack them to make a new SKU out of it. So kitting is like putting all together and making one product out of multiple ones, for example. And then we have cross-docking. Cross-dock is when you move from the manufacturer to the warehouse, for example, and then you hand it over to the forwarder while nothing is done in between, which means that whatever the manufacturer shipped is what is going to get delivered. So any process in between, for example, a warehouse, you store the goods somewhere, nobody's going to touch them. It's just like, say, a temporary storage, like a temporary step-by-step process that you follow, but the goods are untouched and they need to be picked up and shipped as basically provided by the manufacturer, for example. So that's called cross-docking. And then we talk about pallets and forklifts and rackings. So the rackings are basically the shelves that you see in the warehouses, and then the forklift is like a machine, usually guide, that is used to move up and down very heavy, let's say, cargo, like pallets, for example. And that's what you use this machine to load. So put inside the truck, for example, some pallets, or unload from the truck. So put down some pallets from the truck with the forklift. And what is a pallet? Pallet is generally, let's say, a platform, which can be made by wood or plastic. If made by wood, make sure that it has been fumigated, otherwise it can be shipped as a cargo. I mean, that cannot be shipped anywhere unless it's fumigated. But then we have also the picking process, the order picking and order processing. So order picking is literally the process of gonna pick from the shelves and from the rackings the products to be packed. So order processing is when you're pick and packing an order, basically. Then we also talk about a purchase order, a PO. It's generally a reference that is used with manufacturers mainly. When you order something, you generally request for a PO number, a purchase order number, so you have a little reference and you buy something from a manufacturer. Then we talk about lead time and cycle time. So lead time is generally the time that it takes to from the time you order something to the time you receive it. Let's say you place an order to the manufacturer for some packaging and then you receive it after 10 days. 10 days is the lead time. And then you have the cycle time. And generally the cycle time is the time that is needed to actually, let's say, complete a process. Then we also talk about shelf life. So the shelf life is how long can something be stored in a warehouse, like the lipsticks, like 24 months, for example, no more. Even if you don't open it, even if you don't use it, they can last longer, but food has an expiration date, for example. Then we still talk about inbound and outbound. So an inbound is when we receive stocks. Outbound is when we ship it out. So for a manufacturer, the outbound is what for a warehouse is an inbound. They ship the stock to the warehouse, so there's an outbound, ship out. And then once the warehouse gets them, it's an inbound because they are getting in stocks. Then we talk also about different types of handling processes and so on. We talk about SLA, service logistics agreement. So it's like the service level, what's promised to you and what, let's say, it's used to set expectations, the capacity, the prices, and so on, and also how long it takes to do certain things. But then we talk about the statement of work, SOW, which is like a little contract, and then we have the SOP, standard operating procedures. So standard operating procedures are like some, you can see it as writing down a recurring process. So if I always do the same thing for an inbound, I have to unload, I have to scan, for example, and open each box, scan the carton number, open each box, count each product, do the quality check. And how do I do the quality check? That's a standard process that I can, write down and make an SOP out of it, which means that every time I get an inbound, I do exactly the same thing that are written in this SOP, standard operating procedure. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you want to know more, then make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get the notification once the part 2 of the video is out. Thanks again and see you in the next one.